Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Bunnies on BZCast. I am your host, Randy. This is, of course, the podcast of BunnyZine.com. You guys, of course, know BunnyZine, the really awesome bunny website with a themed. It's late at night. I'll go over that part in a second. A very awesome monthly e-magazine. You guys should definitely check it out. It's on the pinned post, pinned, P-I-N-N-E-D, on our Facebook and our Twitter. So make sure you guys download that and check it out. Again, sharing, liking, so downloading really helps BunnyZine grow, and we really appreciate you guys downloading and talking about it and leaving reviews on Facebook. It's been really helpful, guys, and keep downloading, keep telling your friends about our e-magazine. Tonight's recording is a solo recording, and I did really want to get this recording out because I'm going to be on vacation. And 2 days from this recording, I'm recording on October 12th at 11 p.m. I'm usually going to bed in like a half hour. But I will be staying up recording this, and I know you guys really can't know if I'm recording this late, but really I am. I did want to, again, get this episode out. I did not want to wait till like the end of October or like early November to get this episode out because there's a plan for another episode to be out at the end of October. So we're looking at 3 episodes of the BunnyZine BZCast for the month of October, which is really cool. So today's recording is a solo recording. I will be going over the House Rabbit Society Summer 2016 Journal. I had mentioned it in Twitter and Facebook posts and Instagram and on the previous podcast, which just came out on October 10th, which was 2 days ago from this recording. We just released that episode that is with Red Door Animal Shelter in Chicago, Illinois. My guest was Tony of Red Door. So you make sure you guys check that out. Red Door does amazing work, and you guys can learn a lot from them. With the sorry, I was drawing a quick blank. With the podcast, we are BunnyZine BZCast. Of course, you guys know if you're listening. We are on YouTube.com, SoundCloud.com, and on iTunes in the podcast section. I did want to bring up, no one has really brought it up to me, but I think I've mentioned it one time before. We briefly were doing Stitcher, and then I realized like a couple episodes in that just not all of the episodes were going to Stitcher for some reason. So I apologize for anyone that might have hopped over to Stitcher to use that as their listening source for this show. Again, no one has said anything, no one has complained, so I'm just assuming not many people or no one at all literally use Stitcher Radio. Again, I don't know why. It was at first there was a delay, like it would take 24 hours for the podcast to get on there, and then the last couple times I checked, I mean, they could be uploading on there right now. I could be dead wrong on that, but the last couple episodes were not uploading on there. I don't know why. I don't do anything differently as far as uploading, so I don't know why it's on there. Again, I apologize. So for the future, we're going to be sticking with the big 3 that we've had since basically episode 1. YouTube.com, SoundCloud.com, and iTunes in the podcast section. The House Rabbit Journal is really good. It's a first full color issue. If you guys are listening on SoundCloud or iTunes, I'm going to have a picture of the cover on our YouTube channel just so you guys can see it. It's really nice. I myself am a House Rabbit Society member, so that's why I get this guy. You get 4 of them a year. And you get different cards, and I get to talk about it with you guys. And some of the articles will go into different talking points in the podcast. Some of the articles will bring up different talking points. Social media pages. We're at official Bzine on Twitter, at official Bunnyzine on Instagram, and just Bunnyzine on Facebook. So going right into the House Rabbit Society Journal, I literally have it laying right in front of me. Again, I apologize for the delay of this because I said I would do this like nearly 2 months ago, and I know I'm just getting around to it now, but I'm gonna do it right now. Go over this with you guys. This is the International House Rabbit Society. If you guys become a member, I believe it's $20 a year. You get you get discount codes for bunny websites to get toys and hay, and you get 4 of these journals a year. And the money, you're helping out the bunnies at the House Rabbit Society, which is the most important part of your membership. So I get this guy 4 of them a year, and let's go right into this one. So right in the beginning, we have some of the 2016 emergency and chapter grant receipts. I'm not going to read anything like verbatim, just so you guys can check, try to check it out yourself. I don't know if you can buy these things after they're out. You would probably have to give the House Rabbit Society a call. I'm assuming the one out of Richmond, California. That's the International House Rabbit Society. To see if you can, maybe sign up as a member and see if you can still get the summer issue. I can't answer that question if you can or not. So some of the rescues that they've helped out: Bunny Burrow, Harvest Home Animal Sanctuary. This one is really cool. The Las Vegas House Rabbit Society with those billboards. Now we did an episode in the past about the really frightening bunny situation in Las Vegas, and I was really excited. It was months ago to see that this billboard went up. I hopefully might be able to see this on my vacation coming up. You guys won't know if I will or will not, because this episode is going to be uploaded when I get back from vacation. So I'll let you guys know ahead of time if I see the billboard. I really, really hope to see it. They helped with a big rescue in Pennsylvania, in Rhode Island, and this is also really cool too. The Think Beyond Easter ads in Wisconsin, they helped out Wisconsin HRS with that, so that's really, really cool. House Rabbit Society just does so much work throughout the country, and they probably throughout the world. First article is I didn't get through all of it through the second read, which was like a half hour before this recording, just to kind of get a refreshing. But I read some of the key points, and there was this. Some of you guys are aware of this, the Georgia House Rabbit Society rescue in 2015. That this person noticed these rabbits live in these wired cages. They made a phone call, and next thing you know, there's a rabbits from the 180. Okay, so Georgia House Rabbit Society took in 153 rabbits. 153 rabbits out of the 180 that were taken in from these terrible conditions. It's a really that's all I'll talk about it going into this story. It was this was taken down from a petting zoo business. And it goes through the different details of the court, the veterinarian, and it's just really, really crazy. Really crazy, amazing story of this rescue. I mean, 153 bunnies. I know I'm kind of bouncing around all over the place. I just didn't get to give it that much of a second read, but from what I remember reading like 2 months, nearly 2 months ago, it is really, really in detail stuff. Next article, which I will definitely expand on because I feel I was literally in the middle of starting an article about social media and rabbit activism, and literally the article is The Role of Social Media and Rabbit Activism by Annalise Williams. It's basically her own story on her Instagram account, and starting like a bunny page on Instagram, and then it also becomes that a fun bunny page on Instagram. She uses it as an educational tool to help other people and answer their questions, and spread bunny education, and spread the HRS, the website where you gather all the information. I haven't said it in a long time, but the House Rabbit Society, rabbit.org, that website is so much information in there about bunnies. I remember I was trying to bond Moose and Nova, and man, I was trying not to fall asleep reading page after paragraph after paragraph on the different bonding techniques and different bonding situations. I was like, oh, but at the same time, I'm not trying to down it at all, because the more information, the better. I was just blown away by that. But the role of social media and rabbit activism, I was literally starting this article, and then I literally just deleted it because I was debating on submitting it. I was also going to write a different form of it for Bunnysign and also submit it to the HRS Journal, because I think it'd be really, really cool for a Bunnysign member to have an article in the HRS Journal. I'm definitely, if another idea pops up, I will definitely submit one. So I mean, and with this story and this person's story, Annalise Williams, I think it's very, very common, in that a lot of people that I've come across, that I talk to on social media, do the same thing. Miss Buns, one of the more popular bunnies that we featured on Bunnysign, Miss Buns, is one of the bunnies that I could think of off the top of my head as I'm recording this, that uses their page to inform people about, just provide people education about bunnies. And that's a really, really cool thing. As the Tony from Red Door Animal Shelter in the last recording pointed out, you can do so much with a Facebook post about a situation. There's so many, the You Care, is it called You Care? I believe, yeah, the You Care, that, you raise funds for a certain situation. I remember like a long, long time ago, maybe a year and a half ago, a bunny and her babies were set to be put to sleep, and I don't know why I couldn't think of the word. It's too late at night to use the big words. And I remember sharing the link and saying, hey, can we raise this funds, guys? Donate $5 or $10. I remember donating like, I don't know, $10 or $15. And by the time I woke up that morning to check it, because the funds needed to be raised by a certain time, according to the UCare link, the money was there. And then an update was posted later that the bunny was okay and, taken out of the shelter, blah, blah, blah. Which, those kind of things, those kind of efforts to share those posts, whether we do it on Bunnysign, whether you do it in the House Rabbit Society group pages, there's so many pages out there, groups, that a simple post can just do so much. Can do so much for a bunny out in the streets, or in the wilderness that needs help. For a bunny that might be euthanized, that's a word I couldn't say a minute ago. It's just so much that social media can be sometimes a burden. It can be sometimes a place for trolls and crappy people to spew hate and racism and sexism at. but it can be such a great tool for those things that I just mentioned, for saving bunnies in general. It can be a really, really incredible thing. As I flip to the next page, we have a article by Alexi Root on her connection with her bunny at home. She is an author about her writing books. It's a really, really cute story about her writing books while petting her bunny hours at a day. I definitely remember reading that, and it's a really sweet story. There's a big 2-page article on holistic rabbit grooming, which seemed I remember I skimmed through this again right before the recording. This all really seems like a lot of really good, helpful tips in here. This is by Chris Starr, HRS educator and a certified pet stylist. So that seems like a legit title for someone writing this for this 2-page article. And I mean that in a serious way, not in a sarcastic way. It's just really, really neat on some of the different things. Let's see. Okay, I'll read this top part. Holistic is the philosophy of life that all parts of a thing are interconnected. In medicine, holistic treatment is the treatment of a person as a whole, mind, body, and social factors. So, with transferring this over to rabbits and their grooming, it's providing... They're using a lot of different ways and techniques and different things to provide a relaxed, comforting, trustful feeling with the rabbit that just gives it an overall, positive vibe when you're doing, when you're grooming, which is really, really neat. If you guys can check it out, definitely check it out. This next one is Linda Cook, which I believe Linda's a HRS editor. As I look at the front, but yeah, she's an editor for the HRS Journal. I think if this is the same Linda Cook, she's an admin for one of the HRS group pages. I've spoken to her before. Very, very nice. Not in years, but she's very, very nice. It's just answered some questions about bunnies a lot. She listed some books written on here. She has... I'll just read off some of the books that she has listed on here. Artie and Julie, written and illustrated by... I'm going to really mess up this name up. Chi Wan Chen. I'm sorry about that. The Mischievous Hare by Darian Summers. Illustrated by Brian Prohl. No Bunny's Perfect, written and illustrated by Anna Dudney. Okay, I don't know why that took me long. And then The Rabbit Problem, written and illustrated by Emily Gravitt, and written and illustrated by Emily Gravitt, and then it says in quotes, and a lot of rabbits. I like it. So those are just some books that Linda, and then each book has a description about the book. So those are some books that Linda recommended. And there's the next story that we have in here. I think this is the end of the HRS Journal, and we're only like 20 minutes in. Don't worry, I have more to talk about. Bringing Home Bunny. It's a very, very cute story about this woman bringing a bunny home. The very, very first bunny. It's just a very fun story about a bunny adoption and getting acclimated to a bunny in their home. I skipped over an article. I'm sorry about that. The Bringing Home Bunnies by Janet Cruz is a very, very cute story. And then this story is also very sweet as well. As someone, it's called My First Bun Han by Allison Romero, and it's a very, very cute story about this person, Allison, I would assume, that found the bunny out in the streets, her and her husband, and then She herself was not super big on getting bunnies, but the husband loved it the whole time. I'm saying it because I wasn't really sure if they said it was male or female. I'm drawing a blank on that part. But it's a very, very cute story about bringing home the bunny and the bunny becoming a family member, in the home. It's a very cute, sweet story. Again, guys, the HRS Rabbit Journal. I know I kind of just flew through it. There's a lot of information a lot of stuff that I didn't talk about. But again, there's so much detail, so much paragraphs. I'm skimming through it again, and again, it's very the color. It's our first color issue. It's just a beautiful picture of a white bunny on the cover. And again, as the House Rabbit Society does with its website and with their social media pages, it provides a lot of cool stories and a lot of education, which education is so important in this world. The next talking point of tonight's recording. I did want to briefly talk about Milo. Because I'm coming up on the 2-year mark of his passing, which is the 18th. I like to use that day to kind of reflect on how important of a role he had in my life, and I like to talk about Milo and talk about other talking points and talking about bunnies in general. If you are relatively a new listener, long time ago, if you go to any of our channels, YouTube, SoundCloud, or iTunes, if you go to episode 9, that is almost a 2-hour episode where I talk about, basically, it is a 2-hour episode, almost a 2-hour episode dedicated to Milo, telling his story, from adoption all the way to his passing, and the after his passing, and just talking about his life. He passed from GI stasis almost 2 years, 6 days away from 2 years to the day. An incredible just role in what I do now with Bunnysign. I would have never ever been in any group pages and working with Dustin on Bunnysign. The effect and the kind of change and the perspective that he brought into my life was just something I couldn't even fathom years ago. And it's the first. I've got 2 in my home now, but man, my wife and I had such a amazing bond with him. He was just so sweet, so loving, and so caring. I was so annoyed the other day because I think it was the 11th or the 10th. I can't remember. I think it was the 11th, where it was like Time Hop. For the people that are on Facebook that are listening, Time Hop, it will tell you, oh, this post is from 3 years ago in this date, and it was Milo 5 years ago. That sounds right. On this day, 6 years ago, 5. I think 5 years ago. Of us bringing him home. I uploaded a video on Facebook 5 years ago, and it's just him hopping around so happy in my old apartment bedroom at the time, and it's just such a sweet and cool thing to see that makes me smile every time I see it. Out of Milo's pure goofiness, if you guys look up, and I say this because, and just if you want to look it up yourself and get an idea of what I mean on Milo's goofiness, because I don't care about my own personal YouTube page. I literally have uploaded 4 or 5 videos on it in my lifetime of my YouTube channel's lifetime. I really don't care about the views. I really don't at all, or getting anything from the views. I was just saying in general that if you guys want to know about Milo's goofiness, go on YouTube and search Milo Loves Pillows. I say that because people just sometimes will assume that there's a side, he's saying this so he could get views and, get bumps for subs for his channel. No, I don't give a damn about my YouTube channel. I forget most of the time that I even have it. But I have it's all Milo videos basically, and maybe one racing video. But Milo Loves Pillows. If you guys check that out, you understand his goofiness. He was just awesome. What the heck? I was drawing a blank on what I was gonna go into from that. But no, the incredible bond that it just reminds me every time, the incredible bond that you can have with a bunny rabbit. It's just so special. It's unlike anything else, because it's at the time it was just it was something that I didn't even know that could happen. I was someone as a kid who had a cat, never really had my own dog, so I never did not like animals or anything. I was just an animal's an animal. You leave it alone, you leave the wild ones alone, and that's pretty much it. I never had a connection with with an animal growing up, and man, Milo just kind of changed everything. And that tribute episode about him kind of just goes more into detail. When I think about his passing and me seeing him the night before he passed, the connection and bond, I'll use this as an example, but it's 100% true. He was not responding well to his GI stasis, which led to his passing. So my wife and I, this animal hospital's 24-hour animal hospital was, roughly 40 to 45 minutes, closer to an hour with traffic. We were there, someone was there visiting, I don't know, every time someone was basically free. And the night before he passed, I went to visit. I was there for over 2 hours. They just, because he was in a cage and he might have been near other animals. So, I know he wasn't comfortable. So I went in there to visit. Of course, he was a little shy. And then he when he kind of realized it was me talking to him and petting him, he got comfortable and relaxed. He would not eat. He would not eat at all, or barely nibble on anything. And that was part of the problem with the stasis. He gets down comfortable with me 20, 30 minutes later. And the vet said it. The emergency vet there that was working that night, again, this is 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, says, "Hey, why don't you see if he'll eat by you?" And I said, "Okay." I said, "Man, maybe it'll work." I was kind of, I didn't know. And yeah, I was petting him, put some lettuce in front of him. Hey, kind of encourage him to try to eat. And he didn't eat a ton, but he mowed down immediately a few pieces of lettuce. It was almost like, at that feeling, I was just like, wow, it was like he felt like he could, I felt like he felt like he could trust me, and that it was okay to eat, and that he wasn't scared. It's one of the more, when you think about those kind of situations, one of the more just heartbreaking things, thinking about those kind of situations, because I go home that night, and I'm going to get into this in a second. It's another talking point, because it goes back to another podcast episode. But, we all sometimes have regrets in our decisions when it comes to bunnies. And of course, in a passing, that's the worst part. And every once in a while when I think about that situation, I was I was pissed driving home that night. I didn't even want to go home. I just wanted to stay there with him. But, it was one of those situations where I knew my wife and I were going to be there next morning. Maybe he'll be a little better since he ate some food with me. But at the same time, I was pissed because I'm like, man, if I brought him home and he ate, would he have not passed the next morning? You just always kind of get stuck in that train of thought, the what if. And you could really, really tear yourself down doing that. And going back, what I was saying, but going back to the point with the rabbit doctor Jerry Skinner in a couple, I don't know, 3 or 4, I think that was episode 20, 21, I can't remember anymore. And she brought that up at the end. She provided so much medical knowledge. If you guys should definitely listen to that episode. There's so much awesome medical knowledge. She was out of Melbourne, Australia. That's where she was out of. It was an international podcast recording. One of the things that really, really caught my attention outside of all the medical knowledge that she provided was to not live with the regret, because we're not going to be perfect. We're not going to be perfect bunny parents. And this is like just an overall message to just all the bunny people listening. Mistakes are going to be made, and some are going to be little, and one mistake might be big. And not to live with that with regret because of what, we're adopting the bunnies. We're giving them a loving home. We're giving them space. We're giving them love and attention and food and water. And it's kind of hard to forget that it's easy to beat ourselves up after, out of something that you probably can't control to begin with. Whether you believe in fate or destiny or if there's any religious ties to it, there's just some things that are out of your control that are going to happen either way. And I think that in that part, just you have to try to take a deep breath and move on, which is not easy at all. Because like I said earlier, it's very easy to tear yourself down and play the what if game and say, what if I did this? What if I did that? And and talking about Milo, mostly because we're all, we talk about providing people with education on this show all the time, providing the new bunny people with education, and telling people about, just spreading the knowledge of bunnies and what they need to people that aren't bunny parents. But us as bunny parents, for the most part, for the people that I've talked to, we've all, a lot, not all, but a lot of us have learned on the fly, whereas we adopt a bunny and then we Google or look up, hey, what can a bunny eat? You know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of you out there listening have done that beforehand, but like my source of bunny knowledge was my wife, my fiance at the time. And I was just like, all right, because she had a bunny before, and that was it. I did not know anything when we adopted Milo, and I learned from her, and then I was teaching myself on their diet and their, what flopping is, and and just their diets and their fur and health and all that stuff. I think that's an important thing to learn, that a lot of us are trying to do such a noble thing to adopt. You're taking on a huge responsibility and you're trying to make the best of it. And I think, you need to put that in perspective when you're beating yourself up over something that you might have not been able to control to begin with. It's just one of those things that, so many people that talk about on the House Rabbit group page, on the Bridge Bunny Forever in Our Hearts page, group page, what it, like again the what if game, and it's just something that you have to try not to do, because you have to, if you put things in perspective, you did so much for that bunny. You never would have known their outcome without you. What they could have, or where they could have ended up. They could have, the outcomes are the the amount of outcomes are insane, or unlimited, to where that, they could have just lived in the shelter for the rest of their lives, or been adopted by someone who didn't have a clue what they're doing, or someone who who would adopt the bunny with bad intentions. So you never know, and you got to put that in perspective when you're beating yourself up over this. It's something that I've come to do, and I try to do when I think about Milo. And again, I bring Milo up to bring up this point. You'll never know like the other outcomes fully, but you gave the bunny months, years of a good, loving home, and your love and affection and care. Just remember that when it comes to those days where you want to beat yourself up over it, whether it's their birthday, their day of their passing, that kind of thing. What you gave that bunny in perspective to, you would have never known would have happened to he or she. Because like, again, most of us are learning to take care of a bunny. We're taking on that responsibility, while trying to manage your own life and other people's lives that are close to you, relationships and so forth. You're taking care of another living creature, animal in your home, and that's not easy. And you're just trying to do the best damn thing for that you can for it. So again, if you guys want to learn more about that as far as Milo, that's episode 9 of the podcast. It will be a little shorter than usual. I'll be cutting this episode off sooner because I really need to go to bed. Well, make sure the bunnies are all good, which will take 10-20 minutes, and then go to bed. I think, again, I believe this is episode 28. Thank you guys for listening so much. For everyone that listens on a consistent basis, whether you were here from the beginning, episode 1 was like a year, I don't even know, 15, 16 months ago, or you just started listening recently, I really, really appreciate it, guys. Again, the social media pages, Bunnyzine on Facebook, at Bunnyzine, at Bzine on Twitter, at Official Bunnyzine, on Instagram. I'm trying to get all my thoughts right. It is way too late at night for me to be recording a podcast. But again, I wanted to get this show out to you guys, as I've said that like way too many times. I do have a plan for another podcast that should be out roughly in the last week of October. It is going to happen. The recording will happen sometime between the 19th and the 23rd. So you guys will get that recording, roughly 5 or 6 days after the 19th of, I don't know. So between the 25th and the 30th, 31st, whatever. somewhere in that range, you guys will get another episode. So again, that's 3 episodes this month, which is really, really cool. I rarely get to do that, but it's going to happen. I think you guys will really enjoy this episode. It's a story. I won't give away too many details now this early, but it's a very beautiful story about a bunny and their long-lived life and the sanctuary and the people that took care of her, this bunny. As some of you can kind of guess what the episode is already about, as I've provided some hints in that description. Again, on the social media pages, I didn't say this in the beginning, but with the email, but I'll say that in a second. The social media pages not the social media pages, I'm sorry. I'll just go into the email. I'll just say the social media pages. It's too late. It's too late on a weeknight, work night to be up this late doing a podcast. There's email. If you guys, any ideas for the show, any ideas for a guest, any ideas for talking points or topics, if you want to just share your opinion about the show, bunnyzincast@gmail.com, bunnyzincast, @gmail.com. I get an alert on my phone every time I get an email. I have multiple Gmail accounts, so I will see it right away when if you guys want to send me an email about anything about the show. Again, we'll have another episode out at the end of October. Make sure you guys download our e-magazine. It's the pinned post on Facebook. It's the pinned post on our Twitter, our Twitter timeline, our Facebook news feed, and it is the link. If you go to our Instagram and you go to our bio, our homepage bio, whatever it's called, profile. I'm not on Instagram as much as I should be for Bunny Zine, but I will hopefully make a better effort on that. For Instagram, if you're on there a lot and you listen to the show, if you go there, the link that's on our profile is, if you click that link, that's the link to download the e-magazine. Again, it's a very fun Halloween edition issue. So guys, thank you guys for listening. You take care. Bye-bye.